We believe that that figure will be much higher, be at least up to the $50 million impact, because we're not taking into consideration third-party litigation that could take place against our farmers and ranchers in our state. When someone drives by and see a herd of cattle adjacent to a stream, that might file a lawsuit against that producer. So we feel like that impact would be a lot greater. Something is not right when a government agency can make decisions without considering the full cost to all involved. A far better approach would include a process that allows a full and complete economic impact study before critical habitat areas are declared. This would be a common sense approach that has been missed in this process. Designating that much critical habitat without considering the economic effects on the area is just not right. This will negatively impact the lives and livelihoods of farmers and ranchers and private landowners. The full impact must be reflected in any evaluation of critical habitat designation. We believe the critical habitat designation will lead to unwarranted lawsuits, litigation against private landowners, with little risk placed on those that are filing lawsuits, since the U.S. government picks up the legal fees for those that file a lawsuit, whether they win the lawsuit or lose the lawsuit. The U.S. government still picks up the filing and the legal fees for all of those lawsuits. So there's no downside for anyone to file a lawsuit at any time. There's several examples of the overreaching despite declarations that private lands would not be affected. There's several incidents that we have found in other states that could lead to that same kind of thing in Arkansas. While several states have recently gained the right to use certain herbicides, some of those are being put on hold because of the critical habitat, the vastness of the critical habitat designated in the state of Arkansas. We believe that at this point, now because of the close relationship between the Center for Biological Diversity and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife, they agreed to a stipulated settlement that not only lists certain species as endangered, but require the designation of critical habitat as part of that listing. And that was a very big issue that they agreed upon that led to this immense designation of critical habitat in the state of Arkansas. This new development essentially streamlined the overall listing process, opening the door for non-governmental organizations to come into Arkansas, to the south and to the southeast, and basically extort private landowners through litigation at the threat of litigation. Today's farmers find themselves bound by increasingly tight regulatory constraints, and we all realize that. And you've been listening at all to anything that's going on with EPA and other government agencies, federal agencies, then you can see how these regulations are continuing to be ramped up against our farmers and ranchers in our state. You can likely understand why this threat for this additional regulation would be viewed with skepticism and a fair amount of concern. There's another issue that I would like to bring up involving all of this. You know, on this globe today, there's over 7 billion people. At that number that we are, the population around our Earth and on this globe, there's every 6 seconds a child dies of malnutrition-related causes. If we as a state, you know, we export a lot of our agricultural production, a lot of our livestock products, and a lot of our row crop products we export. And we do that to help feed and clothe and shelter those around the globe. If we limit, prohibit, or restrict the productivity of our farmers and ranchers, then that number is going to 9 billion by 2050. Can you imagine what that one child every 6 seconds, how that would increase if we limit or restrict that production? We recognize that the Endangered Species Act is necessary for the protection of legitimately threatened and endangered species. However, its implementation through critical habitat designation should not go without considering the impacts of the human species. critical habitat designation in the Endangered Species Act should not be used as a mechanism for environmental, non-government organizations and law firms to especially extort or essentially extort from private landowners. We have to use some common sense. We need a unified voice from the state of Arkansas. All segments of agriculture and are very concerned about this issue and are working together for a solution for our farmers and ranchers. Our county judges association is working closely with us to try to help this and help all of rural Arkansas, which is going to be tremendously impacted by this. We need our state legislature to weigh in again, because I know that you have once before, and we certainly, Mr. Chairman, appreciate that. But we need our state legislators to weigh in again to help us get this under control, to get it to a manageable level, and something that we can all live with and not affect the lives and livelihoods of our citizens of this state so adversely as it does. Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate your attention and look forward to the help that we might get from our state legislators. Thank you.